In today's video, we're addressing a critical component of your business foundation, the LLC Operating Agreement. While often overlooked, this essential document defines how your business functions and can prevent costly disputes that could happen down the road. I'm going to guide you through creating a comprehensive agreement using a free template that not only protects your interests, but also clarifies expectations among any and all of your members of your LLC. The operating agreement that we're about to create serves as your business's constitution. This defines your relationships, responsibilities, and procedures that keep your company running smoothly. Now, what we're going to be doing in today's video is using LawDepot's template, which will help you navigate through each section methodically. We'll also be helping you make informed decisions along the way that align with your business goals. Now, this agreement addresses critical areas, including membership structure, capital contributions, profit distribution, management authority. These elements form the backbone of your business operations and provide clear direction when questions or conflicts might arise. Without this document, your LLC defaults to state regulations that may not align with your intentions. Now, today's walkthrough will combine title to narrative conversion skills with practical business knowledge. We'll transform this basic template into a customized legal framework that serves your business. The process will take about 20 to 30 minutes, but it saves countless hours of potential disputes that could happen down the road. So without further ado, let's begin this important step in professionalizing your business structure. Now, the first thing we'll need to do is access and set up this template. The best way to go about doing that is using the link down in the description for LawDepot. Once you're on the LawDepot website, you can navigate over to the business section or simply search LLC Operating Agreement. Once you're on that page, as you can see, it will then give us a complete walkthrough on how we want our LLC Operating Agreement to actually be set up in the first place. As you can see, the first question that they'll ask you here is which industry is your LLC operating in? You have a couple of different options that you can choose from here: construction and repair, real estate, retail, transportation and logistics, entertainment and recreation, food and accommodation, health and wellness, finance and insurance, farming and agriculture, and the other option. Now, most of you out there probably have a ton of different ideas for your business, but for the sake of this video, let's say that we're just starting a very simple retail business. We're going to be having a product that we're selling to people for an exchange of dollars, which is basically what any retail store basically is. So we'll click the retail option here and then hit create my document. Once we hit that create my document button, it will then take us through a guided step-by-step setup wizard to show us everything we need to know in setting up this particular part of our LLC. The next question I'll ask here is, where is our LLC going to be registered? Now, of course, you're going to be choosing the state that your LLC is registered in the first place, and specifically for this example, I'm going to be using California. Once you have all that good to go, we'll hit the save and continue button, which will then take us to the next step, which is asking what our company purpose is. Oh, and just to keep things as easy as possible, we're going to go ahead and add that right now. I'm going to go ahead and just say basically that we are selling products to people online. Again, you want to be very specific for this. This is just an example that I'm giving you, but make sure you're very specific about what your LLC's purpose is, what your business actually does to, earn income basically in the first place. Once you have all that filled out, you'll hit the save and continue button, which will take you to the next step, which is giving your company name. Once again, you're just going to type in your official LLC name. I'll just say Test LLC. And then once again, we can do the add now for our company address and add our company's address. Once all that looks good, you'll hit the save and continue button, which will take us to the next page, which is the member class. Now, inside of the member class, we are either going to choose, does this LLC have more than one class of members, whether that's managers or actual members or partners of the LLC. I'm going to go ahead and say no for this because most of you watching this are probably creating what's known as a single member LLC. If you're creating a multi-member LLC, once again, you would probably say no to this as well, because again, you're not going to have multiple managers or investors or other types of people that are investing quite yet. It's much more of an advanced LLC structure, which we have videos on this channel. Make sure that subscribe button and go check those out. Once you have this filled out, you'll hit the save and continue button, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is who are those members? Are they individuals? Are they partnerships? Are they corporations? Most of you are going to say that they're individuals here, unless you actually have a backing company, a partnership, or a trust that's actually funding your operations, but most of you are probably just going to say individuals. Once you pick that individuals option, you'll enter in their first and last name, as well as their address. And if you need to add another member, depending on if you have 2, 3, 4 members of your LLC, you'll hit that add another member button. Once that all looks good, you'll hit the save and continue button, which will take you to this part where you can do capital contributions. Now, this basically just makes it very easy to understand exactly how much money each person or each member is putting into the LLC. You want to make sure that you're very detailed here and you're actually accurate, because there can be some huge disputes later down the line If unfortunately you decide to dissolve your LLC, or if just things aren't working out and one of the members wants to pull out their contribution, this needs to be documented very clearly, and you need to have a plan of what happens when they have that contribution there in the first place. So make sure you're very detailed with this, and make sure you type in the correct order value and the actual type of money that they're investing in the first place. We'll hit the save and continue button, which will take us to this page, which is any additional contributions. And basically this is, can members vote for additional contributions to be made in the future if you guys all want to, let's say, raise some money and invest even more into your LLC as an official agreement that you can make amongst the members of this LLC. You can add that stipulation into this operating agreement if you choose to do so. Now, for the sake of this, we'll just say no, because again, most of the time this is just going to come as business profits flowing into your company in the first place. Next big question here is new members. Will the LLC allow new members to join in the future? More often than not, if you are a small LLC, you're probably not going to really need to worry about this. If you're planning on making this into a huge company where you're going to want to eventually take on different partners or maybe even give equity to people, this might be worth clicking yes for. And if you do click yes for it, you can obviously add these little options here, which is there a vote required for new members to join that LLC? Do you need to have a unanimous vote, or do you need to have a majority vote by the current members to add a new member into that LLC? And then you can obviously specify that here. Once we hit the save and continue button, it will take us to the next page, which is the withdrawal of a member. Can a member voluntarily withdraw from the company? You can say yes to this or no. More than likely, you would like to probably say yes to this, just because you don't want to trap people into something, especially if you are starting a business with a partner that you're not super familiar with, or you don't have a great understanding of how they are as a business person. I've seen this time and time again happen where people form new LLCs, they get into business with people, and all of a sudden one of the partners wants to back out. It might feel tempting to not give them that option to do so without dissolving the whole LLC, but I promise you it will lead to a lot of resentment, and a lot of issues could be avoided with just giving partners potentially the exit option. And two, it's just a little bit less stressful to think about. I know some people like that stress and they think it makes them more focused on making the business work, whatever the odds or regards might be. But again, I think having that exit option is a nice thing to give to your partner, and vice versa to your other partner, to kind of have that as a option. Now with the save and continue button, and we'll move on to the member meetings option. Now this is interesting because, again, depending on what kind of business you're running, this might be super necessary, or this might not really be necessary at all. It really just depends on the type of business that you're running in the first place. It depends on your outlook on meetings too. Some people think that meetings really are important, so they'll hold weekly meetings, monthly meetings, or even quarterly meetings. And some people just only as required, they set the meetings. But if you really want things to be structured, you can even specify there will be a weekly meeting that we do every week to go over numbers, statistics, marketing, graphics, and anything that you could think of that you would want to, review and go over as far as the business's performance is concerned. And then how many members vote, will that be determining by ownership share or equal vote for each member? And again, I would go by ownership share here. It's going to be the easiest one to do. Now, the next step here is business management. Who will manage the company? Is this going to be managed by the members? Each of the member has a say in how the company is managed, or is it going to be one or more appointed managers? So let's say we have a CEO, for instance. We don't have a board yet, but let's say we have somebody who is actually solely responsible for the hierarchical decisions that are made inside of the company. We can basically say that that's a one or more appointed manager, and then we can also even have a vote based on that, as you can see, or we just want the members to decide amongst themselves on decisions inside of the company. I would go with the members here. Most people aren't going to have a figurehead of a company unless they are starting this by themselves, and you want your future employees to have some kind of say in it. Unanimous consent. Which decisions require the consent of all members? So this is the really important decisions that can happen inside of an LLC. These are things like selling, loaning, mortgaging, releasing any claim except for full payment, and incurring liabilities, incurring expenses over a fixed dollar amount. Basically, these are very important decisions that need a unanimous consent from all members before they are done. And you can actually specify which of these you want that to be the case with. It might be a really good idea as far as selling, loaning, or mortgaging, just because that can be very expensive and a very big decision that most of the members are probably going to want to know about. Incurring liabilities or expenses over a fixed dollar amount might be a good idea too, depending on how much money your company is spending. If you're just getting started out though, and you feel like these aren't really going to be relevant to you, you can completely skip this and not put anything there. Once you get to the next step here, it's going to be binding the company in contract. So who can sign contracts on behalf of the company. I would go any member for this. It's very frustrating, especially if you have partners in different states and you need to sign something as far as a contract is concerned or a payment agreement or whatever it might be. Really, really frustrating that you can't do that unless sometimes I've seen it happen before. There are rare instances where you do need to be in person to sign things. And it can't just be a DocuSign or a digital signature, that you do need to be in person to sign whether it's a legal document or something like that. And just having any member as this option makes it easier, especially if you're located in multiple states and you don't have a centralized location that all of you live and are operating this basically company from. Now, the next step here is going to be the duty of loyalty. This one's a tricky one. Basically, yes, you probably want to say that they can compete with the company. Many of you might be tempted to make your fellow people as well as yourself sign a non-compete agreement, basically saying that if we see a certain amount of success in our company and everything, or if we do this, X, Y, and Z, you can't just leave the company, go start your own company, steal all of our proprietary business knowledge, trade secrets, and all that, and then use it for your advantage to try and compete with us or outperform us. These don't hold up very well in very many states anymore. There are a few states that hold up non-competes very well, but California specifically is not a place where non-competes hold up very well, if at all. Many judges have struck down those orders as they see it as kind of a antitrust kind of violation. They don't really see it as being a good marker for competitive growth in the economy. So for this one, let your members compete with the company. It's not the end of the world. Again, there's plenty of fish in the sea. The red ocean theory, I think, is made by people who are much too concerned on saturation and less concerned on just building a better product. If you want my little business advice there. Save and continue and move on to the next part, which is accounting. How will the LLC be classified for tax purposes? Now, you can do a couple different things here. Is this a disregarded entity or is it a corporation? If you're an LLC and it's a pass-through, that is what's referred to as a disregarded entity. So you make money in the LLC, that money then flows through down to your personal tax return, and that kind of gets funneled out a certain way by that way as well. And the other question here is, would you like to include the company's fiscal year end? Most people say no to this because you just kind of want it to end on the normal actual year accounting basis rather than the fiscal. You'd be a corporation if you're getting taxed as an S Corp, by the way, if you're curious about that, or a C Corp, I guess, if you elect that taxation option. But you only really can do that if you're making over, I believe it's $60,000, and it wouldn't be really necessary if you had any of that. Next up is annual report. What reports will be included in the company's annual report to the members? And this is just simple stuff that you can send to people who are members of your LLC to give more kind of clearance, or rather, give more clarity on what you're doing, as well as kind of have some more insight how the LLC is running and how we can make it better. Profit and loss statements, income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements. This can be helpful. I think it's kind of nice to have, especially too, just to kind of keep your members really aware of what's going on. And if you're the individual person, you're preparing this for yourself, and it's never a bad idea to know your numbers, especially inside a business. The next part, which is the dissolution of the company. So will the company dissolve if one member leaves? I would say no for this. You definitely don't want the whole company to disappear if one of the members leaves. And are members allowed to sell their share to non-members? Just saying no to this. You don't want to deal with mergers and acquisitions if you're just getting started as a single member or even a multi-member LLC. This can get very complicated very quickly. Lawyers will need to be involved. You need to sign a boatload of contracts, business financing. It's just a mess here. I would say no to this. It can make things very messy. It's just easier to say that all the members are, fully in this. And if they don't want to be in it, they can just leave the company. They don't need to sell their share to other people who are not. I think this can be very good. Additional clauses here. Do you want to include any additional terms and conditions? You can say yes here if you have anything, and it'll let you add those. But for now, we'll just say no, save and continue. And then the signing details. Will a witness sign this agreement, which is basically anybody who is a witness to the actual signing or the actual formation of this LLC. It just kind of helps add an extra layer of protection in case there's any disputes or disagreements by any of the members. There's a witness or a third party that's witnessing you sign this agreement. So it can kind of help with things. You'll hit the save and continue button, and then that should pretty much wrap us up. And as you can see, we officially have our LLC operating agreement. Again, this is a test, so it's not fully filled out, but depending on what you fill out for your company, this is basically fully enforceable. You can officially use this in anything you can think of, and you're pretty much ready to go. You can then download, edit, and print this by hitting the continue button and select a free trial or select a premium license, basically depending on what you want to go with. Once again, make sure you use that link down in the description to get the best deal possible and get a discount in the process. Also, speaking of which, if you guys want a completely free operating agreement, instead of paying for these expensive operating agreements that we just went through, you can do so with a service like Northwest Registered Agent or LegalZoom, which will also be linked down in the description. They both offer completely free operating agreements. You don't have to pay any money for, and you can literally get them generated for you inside of your LLC formation plan, which is just incredibly helpful. And I highly recommend that you give them a try. It's something that I've used personally in my other businesses, They make really great operating agreements, and they also are enforceable and fully legal, which is great to hear. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comment section. Also make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. And thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.